When autistic kids struggle at school, most parents look at grades first, but some autistic kids, they get good grades while quietly falling apart inside. And the hardest part is that a school that works beautifully for one child on the spectrum may completely break another child, because autism and schools isn't just about academics. It's about emotional safety, sensory overload, self-esteem, anxiety, masking, and figuring out if your child can actually function in that environment long term. So in this video, I'm breaking down something that's near and dear to my heart, a topic that I really struggled with when my child was first diagnosed autistic. It's what school is the right school for my child. And today I'm walking through 4 major school options here in Canada. But more importantly, we're talking about the hidden signs of a school environment maybe hurting your child more than helping them. I remember feeling completely overwhelmed trying to choose a school for my autistic child. All I wanted was a normal school experience, one with field trips and Christmas concerts, making friends, and then just feeling included. And at first, everything was going according to plan. We found a small public school with small class sizes, which was unheard of, a teacher who was a gem, and my child made friends, got invited to birthday parties. Everything was going according to plan. Academics was even manageable at that time. And then within a year, everything changed. New teacher who was not accommodating, larger class sizes, sensory overload, anxiety, and more pressure when it came to academics. And within a year, everything changed. And slowly, I started to see my child disappearing. Sleep was non-existent. Anxiety was super high. Managing academics was so challenging. Everything started to unravel ever so quickly, and we just didn't know what to do. And we didn't realize that all of a sudden, in a very short period of time, the right school in 1 year, the completely wrong school in another year. From the outside, my child looked completely fine, but from the inside, they were drowning internally. They were working so hard at school to try and keep it together that home became the only safe place. So then we started asking the questions, is this the right school for our child now? Do we have to start looking at other school options? Is this school no longer helping our child? Instead, it's harming our child. Hey, I'm Genevieve, mom raising an amazing child on the spectrum. Every week we talk honestly about real challenges autism families face. So today, let's talk about one of the most challenging topics us autism parents face: schools. The first option is public or Catholic schools. And for a lot of autism families, this is where the journey begins. For some autistic kids, public or Catholic school works really well. Some of the potential benefits are inclusion opportunities, educational assistance. In some divisions, you have OT and speech therapy, exposure to different peers, structure and routine, and it's free. But here's the reality most parents learn very quickly, that the support can vary depending on your province, your school division, the principal, the teacher, and funding opportunities. One classroom can be incredible, while another classroom can leave your child completely unsupported. And one of the biggest struggles autistic kids face in mainstream school is this: they're expected to adapt to the environment instead of the environment adapting to them. Some of the common challenges autistic kids face are sensory overload, masking, social isolation, behavior misunderstandings, burnout after school, and anxiety around performance and fitting in. And sometimes the kids that have the best grades struggle the most internally. So if your child is coming home dysregulated every day, that matters. If your child needs so much time to recover after school every day, that matters. And if your child no longer feels safe being themselves, that matters. Because the real question, it's not, can my child survive this environment? It's, what's the environment actually costing them? So the next option is private school. This is where a lot of autism families start looking when mainstream schools are just not working for your autistic child. The potential benefits are smaller class sizes, more flexibility, quieter environments, and individualized learning. And to be honest, for some autistic kids, the smaller class sizes, it changes everything. But here's the important catch. Private school does not automatically mean autism friendly. When I'm talking about private schools here, I'm talking about mainstream private private schools. And some private schools, they have a deep understanding when it comes to neurodivergent kids, but other private schools expect strict behavior, conformity, strong academic performance, and actually less accommodation. I personally had a private school tell me that my child shouldn't present autistic in order for them to be in the school. At the moment, didn't even know what to do with that information that they were giving me. So that's why I wanted to put this on the list. I want parents to ask the right questions when it comes to choosing a private school for your autistic child. Questions to ask: how does the school handle meltdowns? What happens during sensory overload? Do they understand masking? Do they support executive function? Are accommodations accepted, and do they respond to a child that's struggling emotionally? And to be honest, some mainstream private schools, they'll be completely blunt. They will say our academics are too intense, we don't have any accommodations for students, or we don't accept students with special needs. So just because a private school has a nice, polished website and you're paying a high ticket price doesn't mean your child is going to feel safe in that environment. Private school, it can become extremely expensive very quickly. The third option is autism-specific schools. These are schools designed specifically for autistic or neurodivergent students. Potential advantages are autism-informed staff, sensory accommodations, smaller class sizes, emotional regulation support, less masking, individualized pacing, and a safer environment for your autistic child. I've heard parents say things like, this was the first time their child could actually be themselves, or this was the first time their child actually wanted to go to school and felt included. And this hits hard because a lot of the times us parents, we don't realize how much weight our autistic kids are actually carrying on a day-to-day basis. And once they get into the right environment, how much that can really make a difference. But specialized schools, they also have their trade-offs, because a specialized school for neurodivergent kids is technically a private school just with specialized education. So they can be extremely expensive. They have limited availability. They'll have longer wait lists. They have transportation challenges, and they're not available in all provinces. And one of the biggest challenges that autism parents face when it comes to putting their child in a specialized school is that they don't have exposure and interaction to neurotypical peers. So in a lot of ways, it's like living in a bubble. Honestly, there is no perfect answer here. The real question becomes, where can my child both learn and feel emotionally safe? Option number 4, and then there's homeschooling, which for many parents, they never imagined they'd be doing until school trauma led them there, and there was no other option. But there are a lot of potential benefits when it comes to homeschooling, such as flexibility, reduced sensory overwhelm, individualized pacing, recovery from burnout, freedom from constantly having to mask. For some autistic kids, homeschooling actually gives them enough regulation to learn. But let's also be honest about something. Homeschooling can be a lot, especially for the parent that's doing it. You are now the teacher, the advocate, the planner, the tutor, and the parent. And for a lot of autism families, that can lead to burnout very quickly. And depending on the province, for homeschooling or alternative education here in Canada can provide you with reimbursement for educational materials, tutoring, therapies, or specialized programming. But this varies a lot across Canada. So if you're looking into homeschooling for your autistic child, you need to look into provincial homeschooling funding, autism support funding, distance learning programs, and reimbursement programs in your province. And here's the big takeaway. This is the most important thing I want autism parents to hear today. It's that the best school for your child is not the one that looks best on paper. It's the one that your child can feel safe, they can regulate, they can learn, they can build self-esteem and confidence, and they can be themselves. And for some autistic kids, they thrive in public or Catholic schools. Others need private education with high academics. Others need specialized schooling. And others, they they need to be homeschooled in order to learn at the pace that they need. And sometimes the right answer, it changes over time, and that's okay too. You are not failing your child if the original plan stopped working, and you are not a bad parent if you need to change direction because something is not working for your child. There is no perfect school when it comes to schooling for children on the spectrum, and that's something that I think us as parents really need to understand, because at the end of the day, our children need an environment where they're not losing themselves just to get through the day. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What school option has helped your child the most or the least? Because honestly, us parents learn best from other parents' lived experience, so please share. And if this video has helped you feel less alone navigating autism and schools here in Canada, please hit the like and subscribe button or share it with a family that might need it today. Every week, we talk honestly about autism parenting, without shame, without judgment, and without pretending that this journey is actually easy. And wherever your child is right now, I just want you to know this: you're not alone in this, and neither is your child. I'll see you next week on the Autism Parent Guide.